Well, I don't think that I ever could have accomplished as much as I have with a newspaper as I did at the AP. I don't think they would have given me the leeway to cover trials for all this time. When I first got into it, trials were not something that people covered every day. It was too costly, for one thing. If I had to be sent out of town on a trial, for instance, when I was sent to do Patty Hearst, when I was sent to Alaska to do the Exxon Valdez, those were costly assignments, and I had to be in the courtroom every day. The AP gave me that leeway. Also, I've always said that the AP is a place where you can be straight and tell the truth and not be biased. That's why when I heard you had gone into this deal with Fox, I was very surprised. And I would have made a lot more money in television, but I don't think I would have been as capable of maintaining my integrity, which was always the most important thing to me. Mm-hmm. It's an organization that I think I was very lucky to find early on, and you know, maybe I chose them, maybe they chose me, but it was fated, it seems. Had I been somewhere else, the course of my career would have been quite different. I don't know if Manson himself knew. He was very deranged at the time, and I think that if you look at the reasons that have been put forward, none of them really makes any sense. My own feeling is there was no reason for these killings, other than that perhaps Manson had achieved ultimate control over everyone that followed him. They would do anything he wanted.
It's a joke.
Anyway, he's doing this. Tell him about doing your...
What? If they get paid for it, it doesn't matter. I've always been. My biggest problem.
Now, I had done pools on presidential things when I'd been at San Clemente, when I'd been at the Reagan White House. I thought, oh, this is nice. You know, you come back, you tell the other reporters what happened. But that wasn't it. You went on television in this case and told 40 million people what happened.
Yeah.
And so for the first time in my career, my face became as famous as my byline, more famous. And people would recognize me on the streets and stop me and ask me about the case. And there were a lot of funny stories associated with that. But and then I started being called upon to go on shows like the Today Show and Larry King and so forth to talk about the situation and about that case, and then subsequently about others.
Yeah.
Violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human.
Please put your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and the truth?
And so it will be remembered for the blending, if you will, of show business and the courts. It's always been there to some extent. The court has always been a great theater, but never before has it been this kind of theater. It's the trial of the most famous American ever charged with murder. And in that, it is historical. Okay, this was one of the verdict stories. We obviously topped it many times. Wanly blowing kisses of gratitude to his screaming fans, Michael Jackson left court a free man Monday and went back to Neverland to pick up the pieces of his shattered career and image. Yeah, I can't see. Jackson, 46, was cleared of all charges in his child molestation trial. Hearing the words "not guilty" uttered 14 times in a deathly still courtroom. The Peter Pan of pop music could have gotten nearly 20 years behind bars if convicted of charges that he molested a 13-year-old cancer survivor at Neverland in 2003.
On OJ.
Frequently. It's great theater. It's certainly, you know, a place to see. I remember that Theo was once asked by a woman at a party, said to her, "Oh, you cover all these grisly, horrible things." She said, "Don't you feel like a voyeur?" And Theo said, "No." She said, "Do you feel like a voyeur when you're watching Hamlet or Macbeth?" It's the same thing. And it's as old as Shakespeare and as old as Socrates, and it's an extremely powerful theater that tells us about ourselves and about the people on trial. And I think that it's ever fascinating.